Say hi. Can you say hi? Alright, what are you barking at? Who's there? Who's there? Are you gonna get the squirrel? Oh, you've been chasing a squirrel, haven't you? Where is he? Is he over there? Is he that way? What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. Today is Monday, which means it's a new week of training for me. So if you've been following along, this is week 4 of the speed and jump training program that I'm doing. So gonna get into it. I'm gonna just about to start my workout right now. So I'll see you in the voiceover part of this video. All right, so welcome back to another week of training, another voiceover. Another day of me talking about what's on my mind, because I just love talking about my training and trying to help you guys. So here we go, starting off with some warming up, like dynamic warm up before my sprint training is definitely doing stuff that's helping me really get my knees up, especially before acceleration day like today. Again, kind of working off last week where my adductor and hip flexor were kind of not feeling great, so kind of want to pay a little bit more attention to those areas. And then going right into the same thing, so build up sprints to falling starts to the squatty run and then the medicine ball toss. But we're just raising volume, and for most of these, for this falling sprints and the squatty run, I'm just really adding a sprint for the last 3 weeks of this program and doing the same here today. So that's just one way to progress. You're just adding overall volume and yards, and this is going to increase, one, the amount of reps that you're doing, so you're practicing your form, you're practicing your technique more, you're practicing your start, you're practicing getting the correct angles in the squatty run, and practicing the transition between the acceleration phase and the top speed phase. So that, in my opinion, is just an underlying point of emphasis you should always have in your training.
Alright, so feeling pretty good today. Just finished the squatty run. Gonna go on to med ball toss, and then I'm gonna see how I jump. Probably won't go up all the way to the top setting on the basketball hoop, but which is about 9'9", but I definitely am excited to get a lot of good 2-foot jumps in. That's gonna be the challenge for my next actual real height dunk session. So that's that. Sorry, I'm out of breath.
And then med ball tosses, I'm really just adding a toss or two per week, and just really trying to work on being more explosive. And I think that med ball toss is always a good exercise for that.
All right, now I'm on to the dunks. So why do I do the dunks at the end? Now, it really doesn't matter in my opinion. A lot of people do this and they say that dunking at the end, it's more like, almost like it gives you confidence because you're doing it when you're tired. For me right now, I'm doing lower rim dunks. The purpose of them is to get some like smooth jumps and like jumps where I'm not exerting myself at 100%. So for that to make sense to you, like it's almost like training submaximally. Like if you were a powerlifter, if you're doing deadlifts at 70% or bench press at 85%, something like that. I want to stay in that 7 to 9 percentile range, or like a 7 to 9 RPE. Like I'm not exerting myself at a 10 out of 10. So that's what I'm trying to get out of that. Jumping off the off leg is still so awkward to me. Like every time I do it, it's just like a bunch of stutter steps. I just have to clean that up. I know it's not gonna come without a lot more practice, but I mean, that's what these sessions are for. So just trying to get better at those as much as I can. And I think if I do get better at those and am able to dunk off of either the off gather, which is for me right left, or dunk off my right, on a 10-foot, my dominant leg is gonna be crazy.
Interestingly enough, trying to play off last week where I wasn't feeling great during this training session, I actually was feeling really good during this training session. As you'll see, just messing around, was able to get some really good attempts off of 2 feet and off of my off leg, single leg jump, which is my right. Just doing some different stuff. I mean, like throwing my body at this rim as many different ways as I possibly can, switching up the angle, switching up the takeoff, switching up the toss, really trying to get better at the toss. I'm garbage at it. There's no two ways about it. Like, so many attempts to just get one good toss. I don't know, this is really, like, I was a former basketball player, so this is what really drives my passion to that. And I always looked at basketball players, like NBA players, as probably the highest form of elite athleticism you can possibly attain. So that's why I have these in my program. I just think it's something that helps you become more athletic. So I was able to get a really good 2-foot stuff off a toss, but that was me feeling good and just wanted to finish on a high note for the day. So I was happy to end my training session there on that one.
Let's go. All right, so that's gonna be my last dunk. I'll see you in the next part. So, dunk day. I'm gonna take probably like 10-15 attempts. I'm gonna try to go off of 2 feet like I did in the first training session. I got Cole to help me. I might have him throw me a couple tosses, see how that goes, and just see what happens.
So that was the good training day, and now this one was the bad training day. And what I really want to talk about here is sometimes you got to take a step back to go 2 or 3 forward. Not saying that I'm really trying to do that in this training session, but what this, in my opinion, it's a combination of things. This training session, this training day for me was just not the best approach training session by me. I've had better days leading up to this training session. Just had some life stuff get in the way. I became really busy over the course of this week. At the end of the day, like, that stuff happens, but it's no excuse. But what it also is a culmination of fatigue building up. So it's to the point where fatigue is starting to begin to mask my performance a little bit. And that's okay, but what you gotta understand is in order for that to have a payoff, you have to be able to dissipate that fatigue later on in the program, which is what most people call a peaking phase. That's just something I want to touch on. I'll definitely try to make a video explaining that more in depth, but that's just like kind of what you're seeing here in this part of my program. So that's that. Enjoy the rest of the vlog.
Alright, unfortunately it wasn't happening today. Good days and bad days. Just gotta kind of take it for what it's worth. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. You know, a lot of variables kicking in. Had kind of a high stress week at work. You know, whatever. Those are excuses. I don't like to make excuses. Didn't get it done today. That's kind of that. I'm not gonna go that much far into it, but that's it. Alright, so unfortunately I didn't get the dunk today, unless you want to count that stupid little putback. Finished off with, took a ride to the field next to my chauffeur, wow, chauffeur. And finished up with the top speed training session. That boy, step on it. Finished up with the top speed training session with some build-up sprints, 60-yard build-up sprints, 20-yard straight leg bounds to 20-yard sprint, and then with a couple 40-yard dashes. Unfortunately, today is kind of a rough day. I had a long night, didn't really sleep too well. Didn't sleep in my own, or at my own house even, so a lot of things to consider. Going out late, getting up late, just out of my routine. These types of things can affect your recovery, and they can affect your entire routine. You know, obviously, you gotta live life. It is what it is. You gotta do stuff when, fun stuff when it comes up. So that's kind of my mentality. But as far as recovery is so important. Like you need, if you're not maximizing the amount of sleep you get, the experts say between 6 to 8 hours. If you're not maximizing your nutrition, like, you know, sticking to your macros, obviously that's gonna have a pretty large effect. And if you're not minimizing at least trying to manage the amount of external stress that you accumulate throughout whatever training cycle you're doing, that's also gonna come into play and have an effect. You know, little stuff can add up and overtrain you at the end of the day, and that's the type of stuff that we don't want. So that's the end of my little rant and the end of this video. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. What do you got to say? Lead us out?
Hit the like button.
Yeah, hit the like button. Yeah, all right. Thanks.